I think the concept of sin is one that is essentially a religious one. So that this poses a bit of a problem if we want to talk about sin in a secular way, because I think by definition a sin is an offense not against some person, but against God. So if you don't believe there is a God, then you really can't sin. Luckily, I, for example, cannot sin. And of course, that doesn't mean that an atheist can't do bad things. And there are plenty of bad things and reasons why we do them. But I think that on the whole, the concept of sin is very unhelpful in understanding the nature of goodness and badness. Of course, as an atheist, I am to anyone who is religious, or at least according to several of the major religions, I am doomed to hell. And I would find this alarming if it were not for the fact that, well, I don't believe it. So yes, I think it is liberating not to believe that you are somehow subject to rules and standards and potential punishments that come from something that has really nothing to do with your own nature. I think it's very scary. And many religious people have lived extremely intensely miserable lives with constant fear of hell. Of course, nowadays, when religion has become a kind of supermarket of competing feel-good doctrines, very few people regard religion this way. A religious person would have to allude, I think, to the will of God and what God intends for you. Because you can't just be satisfied with saying that you be sinning if you don't do what your daddy tells you, or you'll be sinning if you hurt another child. Though it seems to me that these are, in fact, perfectly sufficient answers to inculcate the idea of good and bad in a child. But to put above this idea of good and bad the additional layer that makes it sin, as opposed to makes it something wrong, I think unnecessarily complicates things and raises all kinds of questions in any intelligent child as to where those standards could be coming from, since they don't come from anything that is directly intuitive about what is good or bad. I think that a lot of religious people, and even some people who are not religious themselves,